Okay, this is an incremental game called Biotama Game, as far as I can tell. I got to the end, so I'm just going to go through all the endings real quick. Every single time you reset, you get levels, and each one of those gives you stuff. I'm just going to scroll through that real quick. Boop, 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 boop. And at the very end, this one took forever to actually unlock, but it gives you +1 star point per ending you've seen. I'd got 3 endings before it actually unlocked. Alright, go into options, turn off the auto destroy everything. And that should be good. There are some certain things I won't be able to show, like unlocking the permanent shortcuts, but, you know, that should be fairly easy through a regular playthrough anyway. Alright, so, doing the base unicellular creature, which is probably the easiest one after you've finished the entire thing. A wriggling mass blocks path forward, easy to defeat, simple bacterium. Every single time you defeat a creature, you can steal their abilities. So you start with a feeble hit, like other simple bacterium. But then, once you defeat something bigger, like this ciliate protozoan, you'll get its ciliary sweep for additional power. Giant amoeba, apex predator, colossal and sturdy, challenging. Consider moveset wisely. So this is the only one where you don't go, hey, I can instantly win with just hitting feeble hit over and over. Okay, good interaction. To note, if they engulf you first, you can't engulf them. Colossus falls and new path opens. New area unlocked. Incubator. So for every little bit of progress you make, you can scavenge stuff. So after you unlock eyes, you're able to find items as well. These don't appear until like stage 4 though, because that's when you evolve eyes. Stage 3. This place has regen serum, growth booster, and stem cell cluster. Each of the colors represents one of the stats, and they just have the same +5%, +0.2 base, and a cap of 100 or 20 for how much max health you heal per second when out of combat. Anyway, I've ground up all of them, so the game is extremely easy now. Incubator. Bidelloid rhodophile. Numerous cilia spin wildly, propulsion erratic. Its trophi click, menacing, aggressive. It has ciliary dance. So now we're up against the multicellular creatures. So, with those things that you scavenge, you spend them on upgrading your stats. Endoplasm is the most important one for a single stage or for a single cell organism because it increases your vitality, which is your max health, and your biomatter scavenging. A giant creature, unbothered, in its element, thriving, inconveniently blocks the way forward. This may take a while. Tardigrade. I'll see if I can engulf it. Now just feeble hit. Oh, never mind. Yeah, engulf. Does pure damage based on your body stat. Well, your vitality, but vitality is increased by increasing body. Hydra vulgaris. Tentacles drift, extending and retracting with precision. A swaying stalk senses disturbances. It waits for prey. Nemocyte Jab. So, poison is the most important thing for the multicellular because it's based on constitution, which is the important stat for multicellular. I think you only unlock it at multicellular as well. Maybe you don't, and you unlock it earlier. I can't remember. The heads are slain. A new path opens. New area, sampling room. You do get that tiny little additional bit of progress to scavenge after you've beat that last enemy, though, so worth waiting a tick and then scavenging to get that last bit of material. Obstacle detected. Blocker type, combat. Oriental cockroach. Legs skitter, antenna twitch. A carapace glistens with the filth of 100 scavenged meals. But now, something fresh. You. Hardened carapace. I don't think I actually found this useful, like, ever. Right. Specialist strike is for when you have actual stats. I'm gonna just engulf it. That solves everything. Mudskipper, a creature of two worlds. It lives between the liminal space of shattered glass and shallow water. Not trapped, not free. A reflection. Primed I used for quite a bit because doubling your next attack is pretty good considering it only takes 20 AP and some of the stronger attacks can cost like 60. Spiny mouse. Once fed by hands that never returned. Like you, it was left behind. Like you, it refuses to starve, and so it must take. Fast strike. Used this for a bit as well. Until I went, hey, I can just use better stuff that does damage over time and doesn't rely on having stats. The struggle ends with a final feeble twitch. Somewhere in the distance, a faint scurry echoes. Life continues on. Corrupted vermin. Another of the same? No. The first took only what it needed. This one does not stop. The hunger does not stop. It cannot stop. Rabid bite. That one is a fairly useful one. It does physical damage and it applies poison. And being able to do physical damage is important for reasons. It only takes one mistake, one breach, before what's contained becomes no longer. A crack, a hairline fracture, a single unforeseen failure, and the boundaries are breached. Now, they are free to consume. Blood leech swarm. Vampiric siphon. I tried using this. I don't think I actually got any real use out of it. So this thing has aberrant regrowth. Restores a percent of its max health every second. It does not outpace being engulfed, because my vitality is much too high for it. Gnarled salamander. It gorges itself. Thick strands of corrupted flesh stretch from its jaws, still squirming as it swallows. A hiss escapes it. It shudders. Its bloated belly pulses. Bloated body pulses. The skin weeps, yet wounds close as soon as they form. Veins, once hidden, glow beneath its skin. The air shimmers with toxins it exudes. Its head snaps toward you. Feeble hit, no longer useful. Engulf, still keeping up. What's useful is taking that renew from the cockroach. It removes the poison debuffs. The salamander is gone, its body ruined. but remnants of the corrupted mass still remains. Gnarled salamander, defeated. The creature fed upon it. It changed, grew beyond what it should have been. Stronger, harder to kill. And you? You already devoured so much. More than you could ever have been meant to. Grown faster, more powerful, more resilient. Perhaps this is no different? Press on. Unlocks research wing. Unlocks aberrant mass collection. So that's the purple stuff, which is not going to be relevant for a little while. Void afflicted patient. An ID band dangles from a wrist too thin, too warped. A name was written there, unreadable now. Once they were subjects, volunteers, those who sought escape from certain death. Instead, they are here, undying, lost. They see you. They move toward you. Are they reaching for salvation, or for something else? Hollow Space retaliates with power damage when hit by physical attack. And its power is 50. So it regens 2% of its max HP every second, which would be 60 per second. And it does 50 damage every time you attack it. Boom. So engulf it for pure damage, and then assimilate, because I'm a single cell ormulet. Or by a organism, and that's the thing that you get from the final boss. Well, second to final boss sometimes. Aberrant researcher. They wanted to save lives, to find a cure, to stop the spread. Rules bent for progress, risks taken for hope. None of it mattered in the end. Now they are the sample. A body swollen with unnatural growths, the flesh beneath writhing. They reach for you. Not for help, not for salvation, only hunger. Graze is pretty useful. It's a passive regen of 0.1 times vitality, so that'd be 101 and 15 per second. It's not like they're going to be doing that much damage to me unless they have poison, which does max health percent damage. Get rid of that. I'm going to just assimilate them. The turret machine stirs from dormancy. A lens flickers to life, bathes the corridor in a pale red glow. AXSU. Xeno threat detection protocol engaged. Stand by for biometric verification. A pause. Cold, clinical silence. A scan passes over you. Metal whirs. Then, a shrill beep. The machine has reached its conclusion. Each one of these enemies also has its own achievement associated with it. Precise shot. That's a decent one for the mid-game, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to just assimilate and then engulf. Sparks sputter. The air is thick with smoke. The casing is ruptured, its circuits exposed like spilled entrails. Error. Threat neutralization. Failed. It will scan no more. AXSU defeated. I should probably upgrade a little bit. Here we go. Underground facility. Corridor. Skip this. Hollow operative. There were 6 of them. Head to the core. The last order given. The final mission. But the threat wasn't in the air, or the water, or the walls. It was something deeper, something that burrowed. Past armor, past flesh, past thought. One by one, his squad succumbed. One by one, he silenced them. But what happens when there's no one left to help pull the trigger? Hollow operative. Aberrant regrowth. And evades 1 physical hit per stack. That's why I'm keeping feeble hit on, because otherwise this takes forever. Renew to remove the poison and bleeding every time he puts it on. Just engulf real quick. Remove his ability to regenerate. And engulf. Oh. Right. Haven't finished getting rid of the evade stacks. Wait for this to finish again. Remove that regen. And assimilate. There we go. Hungering flesh. No mouth, yet it devours. No voice, yet it calls. You listen. A chorus of layered whispers. Sinew bound, tendril wound. A shape coded for growth, for survival. Each cell tuned to a single resonance. Assimilate, adapt, advance. Until the universe is hollow. Until light itself forgets it ever shone. This is not a sickness. This is design. And this is where you get assimilate. Trick here is having more stats than it. You don't get to regen. Oh, wait, crud. There we go. Okay. So this one may be a little bit tricky. This is the final threshold, the last safeguard between inside and out. Anomaly Containment Task Force. They stand in formation, unmoving, unreadable. Their weapons level, scanning for movement, for anomalies, to ensure nothing compromised escapes. And they see you. The thing about these is that if they get low enough HP, they call for reinforcements, which doubles their stats. And that stacks 3 times. So gotta be kinda careful. Fortunately, single cell organism has assimilate for massive damage. Ah, dang it. Alright. Leave. Change up the moveset real quick. Get rid of this. Put on poison. No, that's fortitude. Remove that. Sure, why not that? Physical damage, fortitude, physical damage. And potentially provides corrosion. Good. Try that again. Oh, if you click and hold on something, it automatically uses it. Alright. Now is probably the time to go. Dang it. Scavenge. Just increase my damage a little bit more. That didn't do anything. There we go. A little bit of corrosion. Biohazard Containment Task Force neutralized. Finally, silence. And with it, your shackles are lifted, unrestrained, confined no longer. Freedom. The warmth of the sun dawns on you. The world lies ahead, vast, open, unaware. Nothing can stop you now. The Meridian Post. Certified truths, TM, from sunrise to sunset. Breaking news. Horizon engulfed by advancing mass. Authorities have confirmed the emergence of a massive, unidentified biological entity from the Eldrite core disaster site. The mass, described as a shifting semi-translucent membrane, continues to grow at an exponential rate, absorbing soil, vegetation, wildlife, and structures alike. Attempts at containment have failed. Conventional weaponry appears ineffective against its constant regeneration. Satellite imaging shows the vast, writhing front stretching over 30 miles, advancing steadily toward urban sectors. Evacuation of surrounding towns is underway, but officials warn that the expansion rate is outpacing current efforts. Citizens are urged to remain calm, follow evacuation directives, and avoid any direct contact with the entity at all costs. Updates will continue until communications are severed. Begin the next harvest. So, the protoform has amoeboid movement, which increases exploration speed by 1,000 times while Stewpote is equipped. Each equipped unicellular structure increases biomatter scavenging speed by 2x, and unchecked expansion, while unicellular, 2x body, and plus 10 base vitality per endoplasm level. Body affects movement speed. Now we take that off, we take this off, and we take this off, and we instead move on to the composite. Kinetic accrual. Multiply mutagen scavenging speed by cube root of strength while Lobopods is equipped. Accelerated morphogenesis. Every multicellular structure increases mutagen scavenging speed by 1.5x, multiplicative. Untapped potential. While multicellular, multiply all base stats by held mutagen and increase base fortitude by square root of held mutagen. So, now is when you start wanting to actually get the mutagen. For every mutagen scavenged, gain 3 times more instead. Multiply mutagen scavenging speed by current cascade level. I don't know what cascade is, though. Nova crystals. Ambidextrosity, where is it? Decimate, yeah. Reset calculations. Where was it? Ah, there it is. Starting biomatter. Option to mutate is immediately available instead of having to level up to 10 before it becomes available. And plus 1,000 starting mutagen. Plus 2.5k starting mutagen. Put those on real quick. The 10 cost ones at the bottom of each form unlock at level 33. I think 10 and 15 are unlocks for other ones, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Alright. Start by turning auto decimate back on because I don't want to read all of that again. There we go. Alright, so first things first. Mutate into a multicellular creature. As you can see, upgrading your eyes makes it slightly easier to see what you're doing. Okay, so general antibiotics increase constitution by 0.5 or by 5% additive, and biofilm shield increases base fortitude by 0.2 additive. So that's 20 base fortitude and 500% constitution. All base stats are affected by mutagen held, I think. So, don't need to just upgrade constitution. Need to upgrade all the stats, particularly body, because that is how you get more stuff. And agility, because that's how you move. Strength is mostly for combat. Right. I need to put on some actual multicellular based attacks. So, combat. We've got edit moveset. So, take this off. Take this off because I'm not doing vitality. And instead put on toxin and more toxin. Toxin is how you win as multicellular. All right, so brains is what affects getting this stuff. Neural mesh. All right, that's probably enough stats. All right, once again, not gonna do that. There were 6 of them. And now they are going to be poisoned. This specialist strike that you get from them is much more useful when you have stats in something that isn't just body. Because that one, the specialist strike only gives you heal 50% HP. If you have stats in everything, then it does all of those effects. Oh, whoops, right. I forgot to actually fight this thing, and I'm probably going to die now. Alright, try that again. I don't need to care about health. I just need to care about applying poison and stopping its regen. There we go. Scavenge a bit, and the mutagen has multiplied everything once again. Alright, so sanguination is decent for getting them low enough that they will not be in call for backup range, and then once everything's recharged, can just hit every button at once when this thing's about to surge, and then you can do it again. That didn't work. Try that again. Because backup takes like no time to call. Nope. Whoops. Dang it. Need to have that poison chance actually trigger. 30% chance. I should remove that. I don't have enough vitality for it to be useful. Dang. Nope. Poison. There we go. Parasitic outbreak linked to contaminated meat. The Department of Public Health has issued a nationwide recall following reports of severe illness linked to contaminated livestock and seafood. Symptoms include extreme fatigue, muscle degradation, and neurological impairment. Preliminary investigation points to an unidentified parasitic organism resistant to conventional sterilization and antibiotic protocols. Authorities are investigating potential links to the Solstice Industries R&D facility. Meanwhile, citizens are urged to avoid all unprocessed animal proteins until further notice. Further advisories pending. Alright, so take off this. Put on this. And put on that, I guess. Wait, hold up. Am I getting another point every single time? Because I guess I'm seeing another ending. Anyway, upgrade and upgrade to connecting tissue. Then to dexterous forelimbs and tracheal system. Then hepatopancreas. Compound eyes, and central nervous system. Scavenge. There we go. Incubator. Whoops. Alright. Get that body maxed out. Or as maxed out as I can get it. So the primary skill for this one is agility. It starts with 3 stacks of dodge. Speaking of which, should remove these because now I need to add something else. Let's see, primed maybe? And powerful blow, perhaps? Nah. Swift strike. Dex plus power. We got Dex, which is 2,832, and power, which is almost 200. Scavenge a little bit. And that's good. Just skip ahead to the end. There we go. Dang it. I'm pretty sure with this level you can actually beat it, the guys. Alright, gotta keep the specialist strike up. Whoop, never mind. Alright, how did I do this one the first time? Remove that. I'm not assimilating anything. Rapid recovery? Maybe. Or I could just heal from mind. Nah. Fortitude, power, fortitude based. I guess engulf is probably a good bet. So, nice thing is you can go down to this thing and see what your bonuses actually do for you. Multiply agility by inventory item count and dexterity by log 10 of inventory item count. Begin combat with 3 stacks of evade. Okay. Item drop rate and item drop rate. So those are useless to me because I've already got max items. All of these are the same thing but for different stats. X2, 1.5 times to combat 1, plus 10 base, plus 4 X time 4 agility, plus or times 1.5, but costs 3. I've got enough that I can afford all of them now because I've gone through so many times. Biogenesis, efficient metabolism. For every biomatter scavenged, gain 10 more instead, or 10 times as much. Multiply biomatter scavenging speed by current cascade level. Streamline genetics. For each mutagen scavenged, gain 3 times more. Multiply mutagen scavenging speed by current cascade level. And same thing here. Times 2 and multiply by cascade level. Current cascade level is 43. Oh, that's why the number went up. Because the level actually went up. Sometimes that happens, and I do not notice it. Anyway, energy drink for agility and synapse accelerator for dexterity. Speaking of which, increase that a little bit. Alright. Try this again. Okay, perfect. Engulf, bleed, that. Dang. Dang. Just get on with it. You know, I probably just use poison. And what else is on there? And this is heal. This does poison. Yeah, sure. Alright. Try that again. Dang. Okay, that got close. Dang. Alright. Alright, if I can get below 50% HP, it'll use the suppression shot, which takes a little bit longer, I think. Dang it. Hmm. Alright, need to time that a little bit better. Turn off the auto. There we go. Unidentified hostile creature prompts state of emergency. Panic is mounting across several districts following a series of brutal attacks by an unidentified creature over the past 48 hours. Witnesses describe a massive quadrupedal entity exhibiting extreme strength and speed. Initial reports were dismissed as hoaxes by local wildlife agencies. However, an armed response team dispatched to investigate has since disappeared without trace. In response, officials have imposed dusk to dawn curfews across affected regions. Military assistance has been formally requested but remains under review. Further updates forthcoming. So then, the next one. Remove that, and instead go for Cognitive Leap. Let's see. If I remove all of these, how much do I have left? 6. So I'd need 4 more level ups before I could get something actually useful. Unless... No, that's well complex. Dang it. Alright. Multiply biomatter scavenging speed by cube root of strength while human limbs is equipped. Special event skill. That required doing some stuff, like not being corrupted and then opening up security modules to get a gun. And cognitive leap, times 10 intelligence while human, and a 3 times mind. Gain 3 exploration speed via speed walking. Alright. Start exploring. Mutate, 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 and mutate, mutate, mutate. You are an anthropoid. And then human eyes. There we go. Scavenge a little bit. There we go. Incubator. Sampling room. Get that muted in. Alright, so here's where it's reasonable to become human. Research wing. Increase the lungs. The machine has reached its conclusion. Fight? Identity confirmed. Human presence verified. The hum settles. The machine loses interest. Oh, okay. Unlocks underground facility. Increase the body so that I can collect all that stuff. Perception increases the chance per second that you get one of the items, so it's useless at the moment. Alright. And then underground facility. Finding this event requires you have like 4 million perception or something like that. But then it just stays there regardless. Head to the core. Oh, whoops, I forgot to pull up all the guns. Oh well. Specialist shot is the only one that's really needed. Alright, scavenge a little bit. Get some int, get some constitution. Ah, this takes forever. Just a little bit more and I can upgrade agility that tiny little bit. And then it's facing the wall. Alright. Hungering flesh. Poison. Bite it. remove its regeneration. Poison, bleed, poison, poison, and shoot. There we go. Whew. And that was the final boss for human. This is the final threshold, the last safeguard between inside and out. And they see you. Approach, you appear human. You emerge from the western access corridor. No identification, no protective gear, no resistance. Weapons are raised, tensions high. Perimeter teams initiate standard containment protocol. Behavior, cooperative. Motive, unknown. Threat potential, pending classification. Proposed resolution, off-site evaluation. Is it finally over? Sole survivor. Sole survivor of Eldrite core disaster detained. Authorities have detained an unidentified individual seen emerging from the site of the recent Eldrite core disaster. Sources believe they are the sole survivor of the catastrophe, though officials have yet to comment on whether they pose a biological risk. Solstice Industries HQ has remained silent, issuing only a brief statement. The situation is under control. There is no cause for public concern. Developing story. Updates to follow. Is there a better end? Alright, so take these off. Put on this. Pure power. Multiply power by 2 while corrupted claws is equipped. Every 2 corrupted or eldritch structures provides 1 aberrant regrowth buff on combat start. Blinding Wrath. Times 3 power while in corrupted stage. So, immediately you go human. But then, until you get to that one place... Actually, you know what? Here. Yeah. You cannot upgrade into Abomination. But now, mutate lungs to corrupted thorax. It detects not human. It tries to reduce my regeneration. And then I scavenge for more of this stuff. Corrupted claws. Power goes up x3. Or x2? Can't remember. Upgrade the liver because need mutagen. Upgrade the eyes. Everything turns red. Upgrade the muscles. And now I need to edit the moveset because I need to put on stuff that does physical damage. Alright, deals physical damage and heals. And this one... Heal, deal damage, or apply stacks of corrosion. I'll go with it. Oh, right. Remove the ability to regenerate. Alright. Power is 2,000. Bite does a decent amount. Stop your regen. Bite. Bite. Claw. Bite. And bitten. Nothing can stop you now. Brutal killer cannibal on the loose. Authorities have issued a citywide alert following the escape of a highly dangerous individual from the Solstice Industries R&D facility. Attempts to contain the entity upon their emergence were met with catastrophic failure. An elite containment squad engaged but was swiftly and brutally dispatched. Forensic analysis confirms remains of the personnel have been partially consumed. Further reports indicate a trail of similarly mutilated bodies leading from the facility toward populated areas. Officials have yet to disclose the full extent of the threat, but urge the public to remain indoors, lock all entry points, and report any sightings immediately. Updates will follow as the situation develops. And then the last one. The unfathomable. Scavenge a little bit. Singularity. Antimatter reservoirs. No. Resolve. Fight. Give me that specialist strike. Alright, so we got Intelligence, Cosmic Nexus, Corrupted Claws, Writhing Manifestations, and Corrupted Flesh. Primordial Essence. Hungering Flesh. Initiate combat. And the last ones. Healed him. There we go. Poison. Whoops. Whatever. I'm pretty sure this form is strong enough to actually fight. Although probably if I equip better stuff. Anomalous spire extends skyward. Officials have confirmed that the structure emerging from the Solstice core site has breached the upper atmospheric threshold. The growth, now over 70 kilometers in height, exhibits behavior inconsistent with known biological or geological processes. Its ascent has begun to curve, tilting unnaturally towards solar alignment. Aerospace analysis note that the structure should have collapsed under its own mass under current gravitational loads. However, telemetry suggests the presence of internal counterforces, possibly biomechanical in origin, actively stabilizing the ascent. At ground level, surrounding terrain has begun to deform. Hills, tree lines, and man-made structures within a 12-kilometer radius appear to be warping upward, pulling incrementally toward the central tower. Traffic data shows major congestion along Interstate 17 and Route 84 as evacuation continues. Estimated delays exceed 13 hours, with some vehicles abandoning roadways altogether. Further updates as permitted by signal stability. So there's one more in this path where you upgrade every single one of those upgrades. So start with agility. Scavenge a little bit. There we go. Scavenge a little bit more. And then Constitution. Mutated. And now I upgrade everything else because I'm already Eldritch. No. Scavenge. Perception. Alright. Explore here. Alright, just in case, turn auto decimate back off. Agility first. Scavenge now. And there we go. Rising Manifestation. Antimatter Reservoir, Singularity, Malefic Portals, Cosmic Nexus, Primordial Essence. Resolve. Decimate. Finally, silence, and with it, your shackles are lifted. Nothing can stop you. Status: Global Systems offline. This automated transmission is to inform surviving recipients that centralized command has ceased operation. Global communication systems have failed. Civil, military, and corporate infrastructures are non-operational. Hostile biological and existential threats render further survival efforts untenable. Final advisories: remain indoors, conserve all remaining supplies, minimize exposure to external phenomenon. No assistance is forthcoming. May the sun guide you. So now, remove all these and go back down to the protoform again. Because now we get to go through the archives. First day of onboarding, Daniel Hayes. Woo, first audio log. Feels a bit meta talking about my first audio log in my first audio log, but I guess that's the point. Weirdly nervous about it. It's not like anyone else is going to listen to this. Probably. Anyway, hey, I'm Daniel. Summer intern, Solstice Industries. Yeah, still processing that sentence. Never thought I'd get accepted, but here I am. Solstice Industries HQ. Feels surreal, really. Like I'm in some sci-fi movie with all the cool tech. Wish I could tell my friends back home, but, you know, NDAs and all that. Today was mostly orientation. Sign this, watch that, remember protocol. So much protocol. Wouldn't be surprised at this point if the coffee machines also involve clearance levels. Guess that's what you get when you're working with the top biotech firm on the planet. Okay, finally made it through the fire hose of protocols. Safety briefings, hazard drills, restricted access zones. I swear they tried to fit a whole career's worth of rules into 1 week. On the plus side, solid swag bag. Just been assigned under Dr. Astrid Weaver to one Project Lazarus. Apparently it's all about curing void rot. You know, just reversing tissue decay, stabilizing cell death, undoing entropy. Super casual stuff. Kidding. Kind of. Solstice has a reputation for backing the long shots. Clean energy, deep biotech, even stuff like quantum weather modeling. Lazarus feels out there, but with them, checks out. Haven't met the doc herself yet, but her name comes up a lot. Fingers crossed I don't screw up. Dr. Astrid Weaver, beginning of Void Rot Study 7. Everything's in motion again. Void Rot cases spiking, teams scrabbling, labs shifting to round-the-clock rotations. The first wave of patients is expected Wednesday, give or take. Been here 9 years, but this is my first real Void Rot cycle. I studied the last one in case files. Names, symptoms, timelines. This week, it'll have faces. But if the data holds, we're about to get slammed. 10 years of near silence, and then it all comes back at once. It's eerie how predictable it is. Predictable, but never manageable. I'm getting that weird mix of dread and anticipation. Feels like prepping for a storm. I've cleared the weekend to recharge. Naps, bad snacks, worse television. Please, just let that finale stick the landing. That's all I ask. I screwed up. Broke a petri dish. Not just any dish. P11. One of the most promising Nova strains we've been iterating on for weeks now. Tripped while setting up the nutrient drip. Don't even know how. Dr. Weaver didn't even yell. She just looked at it. Quiet. Then told me to log the loss and take a step back from the wet work for a while. Still feel guilty about it, so I've been staying late. Reading up on anything related to void rot, especially the pre-scientific stuff. Myths, historical records, you name it. Turns out people have been tracking these symptoms for centuries. Necrotic tissue, sensory hallucinations, hyperphagic states. Called it divine punishment for those who rejected the light. Manifestations of their sins born of avarice. It came in cycles. Always during times of abundance. always when the sun was strongest, and each time, the plague returned fiercer than before. Oh, wait, there it is. I wasn't ready. The first patient came in stable, chatty even. Said he felt lucky to be here. If anyone can fix this, it's Solstice, he told me, smiling like it was just a bad flu. I wanted to believe him, and for a moment, I did. 4 days later, he put his head through a reinforced pane and tried to tear open his own jaw. We sedated him mid-scream. He didn't respond to our voices. Didn't seem to know where, or what, he was. Then came the others. Same pattern, same timeline, almost to the hour. And all of them, starving, not just appetite spikes. I'm talking constant hunger, eating through rations, trying to chew through linens. One bit into their own hand. Another tried to eat wall padding, like their bodies were burning fuel faster than we could supply it, like something inside them was never full. We threw everything at it. Antivirals, immune recalibration, gene editing, all of it built on a decade of prep. They all failed. Some didn't even register as doing anything. The failure point was always the same. The cells couldn't keep up. Standard regenerative therapies collapsed on contact. They couldn't integrate. The tissue degraded before anything stabilized. Still, it reminded me of something. Early Solstice work, before I even joined. Preclinical stem lines, unstable, hyperadaptive, shelved for being too unpredictable. But maybe that's exactly what we need. Something that can match the speed of the decay, or outpace it. I don't know if it'll work, but I can't stop thinking about it. Drafting a proposal. Just an outline for now. I'm calling it Project Lazarus. Daniel had an accident in the lab earlier this week, dropped P11 during a drip setup. It's one of our most promising Nova candidates. We've been feeding it more aggressively, needed faster biomass turnover to study later stage morphology. It's adaptive, resilient under stress, unusually stable across multiple media. Or was. He logged the loss properly. I didn't say much at the time. But here's the part that's bothering me. We ran a control plate the next day. Same nutrient base. Same new inoculation, fresh batch. And it's behaving almost identically to P11. Same growth pattern, same branching logic. Even the stress responses match. Too precise to be coincidence. No cross-contamination. We triple-checked. If I didn't know better, I'd say the cells figured out that growing a certain way gets them fed. Second week consulting on Prometheus. They've had me reviewing sensor logs from the core. The structure they pulled out from the glacier a few years back. I remember the announcement. Clean energy breakthrough. Post-geothermal yield. All that. No combustion. No traditional decay process. Just pull, and it gives. Apparently it's been powering half the arcology, and the output's been steadily mounting. But now it's doing something else. Low-frequency pulses started registering last week. Rhythmic, patterned, and steady. At first, the text flagged it as an internal cycling, but the timing is too clean, too structured, and it's changing. Each sequence leads into the next, like it's ramping towards something. Some of the signal clusters matched with harmonic patterns we've observed in biological systems, the kind of things we'd see in response to stress or adaptation. It's not alive, obviously, but the overlap was enough for them to pull biomed in. For now, just consultation. Daniel's been holding the fort on Project Lazarus while I'm out. I owe him a real thank you when I get back. Promotion came through. Junior researcher, officially. Dr. Weaver said she was impressed with the initiative I've shown. Funny, considering it all started because I broke something. Still, I'm trying not to let it get to my head. Evelyn says I've started muttering in my sleep. Something about the maw which swallows the light. Creepy. Can't say I recall that part, but I do remember the dreams. Some nights, I'm standing in a field at dawn. Everything's golden. The kind of light that makes the air feel thick and full, like honey. Warmth in my lungs, with something old and kind just watching, like the sun itself is breathing with me. Other nights, it's different. I'm underground, or maybe just below. The sky's gone, just wet stone and something massive breathing behind the walls. Waiting. Hunting. Unofficial promotion last week. Dr. Weaver's been pulled to consult on Project Prometheus. Apparently some sensor flagged rhythmic signals from the core. Bioharmonics, patterned pulses, too clean to be background noises. Wherever they dragged out of the ice, it's got her full attention. She said she'd be back soon, but she started forwarding approvals to me. Supply orders, schedule changes, even external access requests. All coming through me now. Didn't realize I'd inherited the entire inbox until I missed lunch for the third time this week. Meanwhile, I've been running parallel strain trials in her absence. We've known for a while that some Nova cultures mimic growth patterns from earlier lineages. The same triggers produce the same reactions, even if it's been weeks. Currently trying to tweak variables, trying to see how deep that memory runs. It's exciting, but it's bleeding into everything. Home's starting to feel like a place I visit. Evelyn's been leaving dinner in the microwave, sticky notes instead of conversation. I keep telling myself it won't be like this forever, just until things settle. It's been over 2 years since we've started major work with the preserved void rot samples. Back then, I thought we were on the edge of something. First trials showed promise. Several Nova strains targeted the infected tissue cleanly, broke it down like they had been designed for it. But others didn't. Some ignored the rot entirely. Some seemed to welcome it. It's almost like a coin flip. There's no pattern I can trace. No reliable trigger. Sometimes it's a nutrient tweak. Sometimes ambient temperature. Sometimes nothing. No reproducibility. No trial clearance. No progress. I've spent every night this month running variables I swore I already tested. I know the key is buried in there somewhere. Evelyn's not thrilled. She gets it, but our daughter's just started walking. I missed it. Got a grainy vid on my phone instead of the real thing. But if I can just crack it, isolate the conditions, we might get clearance for animal trials. Maybe even expedite to human testing in time for the next cycle. If I don't, it won't just be missed steps. It'll be missed chances. Missed lives. Second week consulting on Prometheus. They've had me reviewing sensor logs from the core, the structure they pulled out of the glacier a few years back. Nope. Patterns. Patient intake is already outpacing our models. Mostly early stage cases so far, but enough to strain the observation wards. Some are showing signs within 72 hours. Faster than last cycle, but still within the edge of tolerances. Prometheus is another story. The core's output has been climbing steadily since the peak hit. Surge teams were bracing for fluctuations, but this isn't that. It's controlled, consistent, clean. The infrastructure is holding, thankfully, but it's pushing higher than any of the pre-start simulations predicted. We've never seen energy yields like this before. Daniel flagged something strange from the clinic. Some of the new patients have begun murmuring in their sleep. Quiet, rhythmic patterns. One of the night techs ran a comparison against the core's telemetry data for fun, and it lined up, beat for beat. We ran it again. Same result. Engineering says that it's an acoustic coincidence, subharmonics from deep core modulation that somehow bled into psychobehavioral patterns. One of the neural teams suggested sympathetic entrainment. Sounded plausible enough to pass around, but none of us could agree on what the initial resonance would even start. On where the initial resonance would even start. Daniel's still frustrated Nova wasn't ready in time. He didn't say it, but I think he's wondering if this was the window, if we missed it. I sat down with Daniel afterward, told him we never had a solid timeline. No one's ahead or behind. We're all just responding. Told him to get some sleep. Might take my own advice soon, too. Don't know how long I've been down here. It happened fast. Alarms went off. Not a drill tone. The real one. No warning. Just the lights, the sirens, the lockdown countdown. I didn't think, just ran. Slipped past one of the infected. Eyes gone black. Skin twitching. Ravenous. Bunker sealed behind me. Seems like the only one who made it. No way out now. Haven't heard anything since. No footsteps. No knocks. Just the hum from the lower floors. Not even a noise, really. More like weight. Like pressure in your sinuses before a storm. I've been dreaming again. The field comes back first. Dawn light pouring in. Golden and heavy. I breathe it in like it's alive. Like it knows me. There's something watching, but it's kind. Still. Like the sun is waiting, too. Then I wake up. Concrete walls. Water dripping somewhere. It's dark down here. Heavy. Like I never left the other dream. The one with the wet stone and breath behind the walls. I keep thinking about Evelyn. Lily. I want to believe they got clear. We always joked about worst case scenarios. Had a bag packed. Evacuation points. Just in case. I keep thinking, if I can just stay quiet, just stay here, the sun will find me again. Just a little longer. Okay. Just skip ahead to the research wing. Scavenge a little bit. Combat, we need the assimilation back. Is there something here? Consider options. Something is wrong? No, not wrong. Different. There's an inconsistency. You sense it. A barely there break in the surface. A faint seam in this section of the wall. An indent, the gaps tracing out an entryway. You see through the facade. Need more body. Alright. Force it open. The barrier gives. A stale rush of air seeps outward, heavy. Flickering strips of ceiling lights stutter weakly against the gloom. Inside, a figure, hunched low, breath ragged and movement sharp. Your gazes meet. Recognition flickers, tangled with fear. Not at the sight of you. Not at the sight of you. At everything else. Assume custody. Gain researcher friend. There were 6 of them. Ah, dang it, I forgot to keep the thing. And I don't have the engulf ability. Alright, remove this. Put on engulf. And remove this. And put on feeble hit. Alright. Renew. Renew. Ah, moral support. +5 to all combat stats. Renew. Engulf. Renew. Stop your regen. And assimilate. Turn this off. Engulf. Engulf, stop it, and this is the final threshold. And they see you. Weapons lock on you, fingers tightening around triggers. The air hums with tension, and then, wait, stand down. A voice cuts through the tension, loud, urgent, yet breathless all the same. White coat, researcher ID. Hands raised in measured urgency. Name, clearance, affiliation, spoken with clarity. A long pause, then green. Biometric credentials authenticated. Lower your weapons. You hear a sigh of relief behind you. Is it finally over? Daniel's been doing interviews again. He always gets quiet afterward. Hates the attention, even if most of it's positive now. Most people call it the bloom. Solstice says it's helping stabilize radiation levels around the core, not just containing, actively reducing. The official line is uncertain mechanism of remediation, but Daniel says it's eating the fallout. Slowly. Constantly. I asked if it's safe. He said it never once tried to hurt him. Sometimes, on the ridge, you can see the shimmer of it against the horizon, like oil on water, but breathing. Lily tried to draw it from memory. It took up the whole page, just layer after layer of rainbow-colored curves. She gave it a smile, even though Daniel says it doesn't really have a face. Asked if it could wave. It's learning to, Daniel said. Somehow, I think he means it. Another dawn awaits. The composite. Oop, up to 67. Actually, you know what? Reset. Go straight into corruption. Did I not turn that on? Sheesh. Okay. The barrier gives. Inside you find a delicious snack, still fresh. Consume. Gain 1 trillion biomatter. Gain blood-stained ID card. Need some physical damage. Remove that. Put on that. A little bit of strength, a little bit of agility, a little bit of constitution. Turn off the regen. Stab. Keep the regen off. Assimilate. And stab. Or engulf. And they see you. You appear human. Doppelganger. You step forward. White coat. Clear ID. Hands raised. Measured. Precise. The scanner pings. Biometric credentials authenticated. You know the words, the voice, the face. Stand down. One by one, the rifles lower. You smile. And they are none the wiser. He came back. No warning. Just standing on the porch one night like he'd never left. He said he'd escaped during the breach. hid in the sublevels, lived off rations. He looks like Daniel. Wears his clothes, moves the way he did, says the right things, mostly. But he's not tired, not gaunt, no scars, no weight lost. He fixed the front door lock on day 1. Said it was too loud. Reorganized the kitchen drawers one by one. Spent hours sharpening the old knives in silence. He asked about the neighbors, their schedules, who lives alone. I told myself it was trauma, some need to control his environment. But then I saw him in the backyard, digging near the compost bin. When I asked, he said he was making space. I asked about Mrs. Kellis next door. He said she'd moved, but her car is still there. I checked the backyard again this morning. There's a fresh patch of turned soil near the old trellis. And this evening, I found Lily's shoes by the door. Muddy. Too muddy for a dry day. When I asked, she said Daddy took her out to look at where the ground is soft. I told her to stay inside from now on. She didn't ask why. I think she knows too. Another dusk awaits. Alright. Poison build. Alright. Remove this, remove this, remove this. Add this, and add that. Right, need more constitution. Didn't really catch how much I needed. $25 billion. Okay. Erode the seal. The barrier gives. Assume custody. Alright. Cancel the regeneration. Poison. Poison. Cancel the regeneration. Poison. Bleed. Mutilate. And they see you. Stand down. Biometric authenticated. Daniel says most of us carry it now. It's not dangerous, he says, over coffee. Think of it like an immune partner. He says they've traced the vector. Environmental, airborne, likely originated near the breach. It's not invasive, not detectable under lab conditions. But it's there, and it helps. He calls it Nova. Thinks most of us carry it now. A quiet mutualism. Barely more than a few cells. But when something's wrong, an infection, a fever, it reacts. It's strange. I haven't had a migraine in weeks. The ache in my knees, gone. Lily caught a cold last week and it cleared up in 2 hours. No more night terrors either. Solstice is furious they can't isolate it in a lab, can't monetize it. They're not thrilled. Maybe it really is just a placebo. Maybe we're just lucky. But I see the way Lily sleeps now. Peaceful, still. And I think, whatever it is, it wants us to be okay. Another dawn awaits. the Wayfarer. Those first ones are still useless. Complex. Scavenge a bit. A little bit of strength, a little bit of connective tissue, a little bit of constitution, a little bit of perception, and a little bit of intelligence. Okay, need 10 billion agility. That'll take a little while. Alright, 2 more to go. Because I believe this next one upgrades it to 9.99 billion. Or 9.98. One of the two. Pour myself some water. Doggo laying down next to the dog bed. 9.988. Even better. Alright. About 3 per second, so 200 would be about 70 seconds. Call it 60 by now. $55, $54, $53, $52, $51. $28, $27, $26, $25, $24, $23, $22, $21. Okay, I was off by 10. But now I can finish. Consider options, dislodge the anchors. The barrier gives. Assume custody. Please do not resist. It came back on its own, tracked through miles of broken forest to find us again. Solstice tried running the whole containment protocol suite. Enclosure, sedatives, but it always broke out. Didn't attack, didn't lash out, just circled back here, repeatedly. Waited on the porch. One time, Daniel opened the door and it just slipped in, like it remembered where it was welcome. Lily took to it immediately. She calls it Novi, and it doesn't seem to mind. Feeds it bits of toast in the morning. Likes to cuddle with it by the fire. It's big, really big, but gentle. Sleeps at the foot of her bed like a dog, always between her and the door. Solstice still checks in, monthly visits, scans, logs. But they've stopped pushing for relocation. It doesn't respond to anyone else. Prefers our living room rug and the sun through the east window. I've started buying treats in bulk. Solstice still calls it an anomaly, a risk factor. But I think they've realized it's not leaving, and neither are we. Another dawn awaits. So, there are achievements. Pseudopod full of biomatter. Good for the growth. Matter matters. Hungry Hungry Nova. From slime to sublime. Critical biomass. A little twist in the helix. Biohacking 101. Splice of life. Unnatural selection. Evolutionary arms race. And you have many. This is how you get superpowers. Oops, my pseudopod slipped. Well, they started it. Violence is occasionally the answer. Survival of the fittest, not your enemies. You are become death. Extinction event. Grown beyond containment. Micro to macro. Too big for boxes. Digesting the data. Peer review not required. The surface beckons. It knows no shore. Bad meat. Apex anomaly. Recontainment. The red trail. Sunseeker. Bigger than the page. The quiet cure. Creature comforts. Imposter syndrome. The end. Human lungs. Human brain. Human liver. Body up. Liver up. And lungs up. Alright. That should be enough upgrades. There is something there. And I do not have 8 billion intellect. 1 minute. There we go. Override manual failsafes. Alright, remove Graze and put on Resonant Blast. Mind is over 1,000, so it works. Okay, mind is 1,000. This does 10 times mind, so need to get it below 10,000. Whatever. That was faster anyway. Final threshold. Daniel introduced them as Novell. Said they met during the breach, helped each other survive. They moved in last week, just until things settle, he told me. I didn't mind. They're quiet. Hardly a word spoken since they arrived, but somehow they always know what needs doing. Dishes, laundry, little repairs around the house. The kind of chores that pile up without you noticing. Only now they don't. The curtain rod's fixed. The fridge hummed quieter. The heater doesn't rattle anymore. Lily adores them. I don't know why, but I trust her instincts. She says Novell listens. Knows when they need her blanket. Knows when she needs her blanket. When she's hungry. When she just wants to sit quietly and draw. Daniel got them a job at another Solstice factory. Something light. Logistics, mostly. Paperwork. And on the nights we go out, they help watch Lily. That part's new. The going out. The first time Daniel asked if I wanted to have dinner again, just the two of us, I nearly cried. It's been years since we had time. Real time. No rushing. No reports waiting. Just space for us to be people again. A couple again. I asked Daniel once if he really knew them. He smiled. They saved my life, he said. That's enough. Another dawn awaits. Alright, I don't know if this will actually work. I'm pretty sure it won't. There's no ending associated with it, at least. Constitution goes up. Blah. Lungs go up. Scavenge a little bit. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to drop something. I'll go with dropping base vitality, base power, these things, base fortitude, base acuity, base mind. Actually, no. Yeah, keeps the base mind going. And then we have cognitive leap. So now I can go human into Eldritch. Need 8 billion for the unlock. All right, good enough. Check the stats. Got 1,000 mind. Unique. Grants access to move, Resonant Blast, Resonant Blaster. That took a while to get because it requires a massive amount of intelligence and not being corrupted. Standard issue firearm, first aid kit, very, very useful. Handheld transmitter. So I was avoiding the human second perk because it was completely useless to me because it just makes the archive unlocks go slightly faster. But it turns out that was a prerequisite for getting the first aid kit, so I really should have done that faster. Ugh, give me the lungs. Alright, researcher friend get. Now mutate. But first, a snack. Whoops. Didn't read that. Okay, so that did not in fact work. Researcher friend is lost upon getting to this. Well, links in the description. Cut. There we go.